Alright everyone, welcome to King Midas Supercard once again. Now, this video will be a bit different than the usual stuff that we'll be doing on this channel. So, like packs and stuff, I've already done them. I'm just gonna quickly go over the content and then we'll go from there. So first of all, let's Luger. This is what the card looks like. It looks good. We'll be talking about this a little bit later. This video will not be the best of videos in terms of anything. But yeah. Apologies about that. So looking at the content, we've got this Let's Luger limited edition, and we have Flex with Lex, which is a power item. Now that does not look like power support. It looks like a power support rather than a manager. It doesn't say to deck, so a bit concerning there. It's basically a pipe bomb ripoff, is what I'm gathering from it. Both should be available on the Rarity Draft board. But yeah, this support card is in my opinion, a skip. Let's Luger, of course, go for him if you want him. We also have War Mania as well. I've not actually looked at it. It's probably for Lex straight away. Yep, Lex Luger straight away. And then it's for equipment. Okay, not surprising. Of course, the quest is still on. CM Punk is off now. So if you missed out on getting CM Punk, goodbye. He's gone now. You ain't getting him unless he shows up in War Mania. But in this one, I just wanted to talk about the game, and I am very aware that I am in no position to speak on the way the game is made, the way it's developed, or anything like that. I do not share any affiliation with them. I do not own anything with them. I do not work with them. I do not do anything regarding this game's development or anything. This is going just to be not so much a ranting video, but more of a constructive criticism of the current game. Now, this video I think should be shared a lot. This is one of them videos that should be shared a lot in terms of getting some awareness. Hopefully, someone at catdaddy can see this and hopefully act on it. I know they probably won't. But let's get into it. So, I did forget to show it a bit earlier, but let's get into it. So I did forget to show it. And Sami Zayn is the event card. And, you know, I know a lot of people are very unhappy, first of all. I have seen, as someone who's around in the community Discord for Supercard, on the official 2K Discords, where not some random, Discord, not a YouTuber's Discord, server, or anything like that. And of course I don't have one, so again, I'm not going to speak on it. But on the Discord, I've seen people talk about this, that Sami Zayn got especially. It was the conversation ensued at about the same time as when the sort of content goes into the catalog. So about 2 hours before store, and let's just say a lot of people were unhappy, and I do know why, because I'm in the same boat. I am unhappy with it. I do believe that Sami Zayn should not have been the event card at all. He is a very bad pick considering some factors, and I will get into the factors after this Royal Rumble game. But let's just say the arrow distribution and this tier has been awful. So let's look at the Giants Unleashed. It's a flash event, by the way, so double points half the time. Sami Zayn. Now I know a lot of people were annoyed with the Becky Lynch winning PCC. That was one of the biggest things. Almost people were annoyed about. Jey Uso was hit and miss because the issue is with this tier, and not even just this tier, this game. At the minute, I think catdaddy should fix this into next season. Not even next season, next tier. Is your arrow distribution. Now, I'll show the plethora of content we've had and stuff, and hopefully you can see in terms of concept and everything like that, and what the game state is in. You'll see why I'm making this video in terms of the content. This video is not to say the game is terrible. The game is still alright, but this game is also being very hurt, very hurt for a few reasons that has enticed players to either stop playing or entice them to play a lot less. I know for me, after Codebreaker, I didn't play much. This Sid and Shockmaster stuff we'll get into, WCW stuff we'll get into a little bit later. But this Sami Zayn card being a right arrow, and it's speed and charisma. This reminds you of one person, and that's Jey Uso. Why, catdaddy, have you done within the space of two event cards? Well, 3 event cards to say, including Sami. 2 right arrows, speed, charisma. Why? You've basically rendered Jey as a replacement, and this tier has just been a lot of. It's basically the tier of rip-offs, right? And the tier of, just this tier of being just rip-offs, rehashes, alternatives to others, with no little support from elsewhere. And this is a problem, quite frankly. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna say anything that can be seen as vindictive or by the use of like swearing or anything. Like I said, we'll try to keep constructive, but I'm gonna be honest with catdaddy here. The rankings that we get in server stuff. Before that, while we're doing it, I'm gonna head into Discord and we're gonna show you the just the general thing. So I'll be back. So this was the community rankings. So this is the update section. This is in the 2K Discord if you want to know where this is, and looking at everything. How did you enjoy the previous week of WWE Supercard, WCW Special Edition event, plus Shockmaster and Sid, Codebreaker, Clash in Paris, Money in the Bank cards. Well, it's PLEs there, but Money in the Bank cards if you don't know the player. And as you can see, a lot put E. Some put C, some put A, some put B, very few put D. D and B. And this is something that I think they need to expect in terms of the content side of things. For me, I voted E. I really didn't enjoy most of it. Of course, like I said, Codebreaker I thought was amazing. But I'm not going to consider just my experience. I'm going to consider everyone's experience, and everyone's experience with Codebreaker was not good in terms of crashing issues, which I'll praise them. They fixed a lot. They helped a lot with it. But again, when you're putting arrows distributing a lot of blue arrows, mind you. Bear in mind the rankings for next week's will probably be about either a B or an E. They're pushing for a C. Pushing for a C ranking. And the WCW Shotmaster event was awful. The Sid is disgraceful. Now, I talked about in the Discord a few times about season 4/5 behavior, and this is season 4/5 behavior, and not because I think them seasons were necessarily bad. Excuse me, just put my phone on charge, hence why you see the blue. But season 4 and 5, in case you didn't know, special editions were in packs and packs only. Now I will say, with Sid and Shotmaster, you can get them free to play. You can. But however, I've seen very few pull Shotmaster off that rare to draft board. Bear in mind, the Punk Limited Edition stuff was on there for over a week. I saw more stuff of the Punk Limited Edition than Shotmaster. Bear in mind, Punk is leagues ahead of Shotmaster. Leagues ahead. We'll get into the alternatives later. But fix your arrow distributions. Fix your events. Rare to draft board events for special editions are disgusting. Because it's the end of the tier. Shotmaster benefits from nothing, bearing in mind, in terms of equipment. We'll get into equipment a bit later. And these E rankings, or these C rankings, like that when E is taken up almost half of the votes, right? In terms of how bad the content is. Even looking at the reactions in the update section, you know, you sees a few L's, scores and stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I'm not going to penalise catdaddy Zach. I'm not going to penalise anyone, except I'm going to be looking at devs that are making these decisions and the higher ups. You need to look at the player base. The player base, it's very clear we're not happy. Do something about it. We're telling you what to do. We're telling you add more card distribution. Of course, we're not asking you to do everything. We're not asking you to blow a miracle and rehash the game. We're not. We're asking you just to do some distribution changes, even if you have to change a couple arrows. Maybe a few more down arrows, a few more up arrows. Like, you can look at the supercard database for the base cards, and there's about 2 down arrow females. 2. We lost Scarlet, and she's not even in the tin. She was a down arrow. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, she's down arrow and she lost, and she's out. But these E rankings, because of this WCW event, Shotmaster, Sid, they need to stop doing this stuff, knowing that WCW cards were resets. Which makes them even harder. Bear in mind, one of them benefited from equipment, and that was Vader. The others benefit from nothing. All the others, Jacqueline, probably the best one, because we had no right arrow female special editions. I'll talk about that a bit later, because that's another big issue. Right? And Vader being a down arrow is just going to get outclassed by Punk, Lex Luger now, and Batista, who... Batista, I assume, if you played any little bit of SummerSlam Rocks, you most likely have a Batista Pro. It was not hard to get. It was actually very easy, considering the requirements. You had to get 8 cards of about 8 cards of 10 superstars, 10 certain superstars. And you have wardrobes given a shed load, bonus packs given a shed load. And then of course our respective modes being out for 30 odd days. Plus an extra week. Plus a week. Because you decided lights out was a good idea. Even, let's look at the these rankings. That was the votes. Let's look at this. The CM Punk anniversary event. The Julia Battle Pass and stuff. Do we have the rankings for that? I don't think we do. But the general consensus is actually more well-rounded this time. And it was A, C and E. A, C and E. That's a problem. Like, most people either thought it was actually really good, which is fine. The CM Punk Anniversary Limited Edition was a bit questionable. But again, it was a rare to draft board event. The support, Larry was the only fun one. The equipment, I was glad it was free. The Juliet Battle Pass is just a Battle Pass. You know, people are going to hate it. People are going to love it. People are gonna hate it. Simple as that. And Road to Glory. Right. Road to Glory. Outdated. But again, a lot of these rankings have been E-rankings. Now, I didn't vote on this one. For me, for that week, I would have voted C. But, looking at the game, like, we could tell that catdaddy either... Well, they do one or two things. They either don't listen to the player base, which a lot of people, including myself, are assuming, listen to your player base. You could be as smallest game company ever, and if you listen to the player base... Sorry about that. Now, I've forgotten what I was getting to. Oh yeah, regarding the game's rankings and stuff, these E rankings, they shouldn't be aiming for an E. They should not be getting E rankings in terms of a game company that is well developed. You know, it's got a community manager that does his job every now and again. Like, does his job, is quite. Well, sometimes clear, not all the time. But again, I'm not taking shots at him. You know, everyone has to have breaks. Not everyone's going to do it 24/7. You know, stuff like that, and it's fine. But in terms of the devs, we're looking at them because just had. Let's go into my cards and look at my some cards. Of course, Omos, right arrow. And this is just the event cards, by the way. Omos, right arrow. Finn Balor was a right arrow. John Cena being a battle pass was a right arrow. Becky Lynch, PCC, was another right arrow. Jey Uso's a right arrow. Becky Lynch is a left arrow. Omos, Finn, Becky, all left arrows. John Cena, Jey Uso, right arrows. No blue, no yellows. The yellows we've had is three sets of limited edition cards. 3. Bear in mind we've had 4. Not everyone. Okay, I understand. Not everyone's gonna have Bulldog, right? There is, people don't care about campaign. A lot of people, the casuals. Let's just look at the casual player base because that player base is much bigger than the more hardcore. The casual player base are basically saying we're not doing campaign because it's pay to win. Simple as that. But looking at the limited editions, CM Punk is a down arrow, right? Benefits from a shed load of equipment. British Bulldog is a down arrow, and he benefits from nothing. Lex Luger, as far as we're aware, benefits from no equipment, is a down arrow, power, toughness. Lex Luger is an alternative to British Bulldog, hence making campaign pointless. Pointless. Because if you've got Luger in your mind, you're not going to want Bulldog because there's no reason to have him in the sense of power, toughness for down arrows. That is horrifically bad. When we're looking at alternatives, right, for, certain things, campaign cards, alternate-wise, should not be an option. We should not be saying, we're going to be getting Lex Luger, so we don't need British Bulldog, so we shouldn't finish campaign. No. They should have either done they should have changed the person for campaign. As much as I respect this Bulldog, and of course Winston and everything like that, which is fine, getting Bulldog and getting Luger, pointless. In terms of, do you necessarily need both? No. Don't need both. Of course, it'd be nice to get both, but casuals, let's look in the casuals' mind, catdaddy. They don't do campaign. Statistically, like, at the minute, how many people have gotten campaign done right now? It's probably about, last time I checked, it's like 1,300. 1,534. That's low. It's high. It's high for a campaign card, but it's low. CM Punk got to over 50,000. As a down arrow. Bear in mind, you could have got him more than once free to play if you're very lucky. Of course, not everyone was lucky, and I accept that, and that's fine. It's what it is. Fastlane was an option if you were pay to win, and you can get 2 of him on completion, because it wasn't that hard. For 6,500 credits. Of course, I did Fastlane, and, it is what it is. But let's just look at the arrow distribution in this. Out of these 12 cards, right, that you are seeing, 5 of them are left. So look at the females for this tier. Wrong button. You've had Zelina Vega, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus. There's been an option. Io Sky, not special edition, bear in mind. You've had Zelina Limited Edition, Rhea Ripley special card, Becky Lynch is just an alternate to Zelina Vega. Trish Stratus is Pan Charisma. Why are you giving so many left arrow females? Even looking at like the fusions. Let's look at the fusions real quick. With your arrow distribution. Ron Killings is a right arrow. Okay, Yakima's an up arrow, fair enough. Dragon Lee's an up arrow. Chris Del Toro's an up arrow. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you've got a fair few up arrows. That's not bad. AJ Styles is a right arrow. Bianca Belair is an up arrow. Asuka is a down arrow. Now, I'm not saying this is bad. Right, the fusion options weren't bad. Ron, he benefits from 1 equipment and it was paid. Yakin benefits from nothing. Dragon Lee, if you bought the mask, if you didn't, he benefits from nothing. Cruz Del Toro benefits from nothing. AJ Styles benefits from WrestleMania t-shirt and his Battle Pass equipment. And you had to buy that Battle Pass, bear in mind, to get it. Bianca Belair benefits from the WrestleMania t-shirt, and Asuka benefits from the Pure Power equipment, which, again, not everyone has. It was the most obtainable equipment, in my opinion, than the others. But again, that's just me. And then we talk about the Lucha cards, the Luchador cards. First of all, catdaddy, never do stuff like that ever again, because it is just Season 4, Season 5 behaviour, which is bad Season 4, Season 5 behaviour, hiding special cards behind pay-to-win methods, not even guaranteed the card, and focusing more on the equipment side of it. That, for me, is horrific. Why? You don't need to. And, people are going to say, well, you don't actually need to buy it. Okay, yeah, that's fair, but you fall behind. The meta is equipment. Like, nowadays, the general thing, and this is my next point about equipment, tone down equipment. Either tone it down or get rid of it. Right, let's look at equipment. Some 25. Okay, I have 2, you got 2 Drug Fiend Knuckles, if you were lucky enough. Which is what it is. 2 Dom Nuggets, fine. And Pipe Bomb promo, again, Battle Pass. Julia, Battle Pass, stuff like that. The rest of the equipments from the Luchador stuff was all paid £16 my currency. To some, it's probably about $20 odd. Could be wrong. About $20 odd per one, and there's been about 6 of them. I think. Hang on. Andrade, Axioms 2, Dragon Lee 3, Phoenix 4, Santos 5. That's it. Right, and of course we've had a Grande Americano as well, but his equipment's free. His equipment's free, and you can get the promo backstage. If you don't know that already, 3,500 backstage credits, by the way, at the end of the tier. It's not a down arrow, but but it's a down arrow, which is fine, we like the more yellow up arrows and stuff. But Andrade is an up arrow, Axiom is an up arrow, Dragon Lee is an up arrow, ironic. And Rey Fenix is a up arrow. Santos Escobar is a down arrow. But 90%, well, 80% of your special editions that were up arrows were paid. And that's excluding Eddie. $80. Approximately. That is madness. And bear in mind, you weren't even guaranteed the cards. And to even make the cards useful, except maybe Ray Phoenix, which was on WrestleMania, all of them were pointless unless you bought the equipment. If you didn't buy the equipment, unless you got Axiom and you got the sheer speed, and that was in Super Smasher. Low odds, terrible odds, quite frankly. You need catdaddy. This event should have been collectibles. Luchador cards, we would have praised it. We would have said, great job. You know, well, you've done decent there. You've done collectibles. But no, you make SummerSlam rocks over 30 days. Again, I have no problem with LTEs being like 30 odd days long. But this one, way too long. And the only reason they extended it is because certain people, a lot of people complained about Drew McIntyre being difficult. Because you decided, Cat Daddy, Lights Out was a good option. A good option. Why? Money? Yeah. You can't, to complete Lights Out free to play, you have to fail 9 times in a board of about 50. Do you know how low the odds are? Very low. Very, very low. And, again, me saying about 50 is generous. It's probably more. But, in terms of the arrow distribution, even looking at these, I've got a Vader, bunches of punches, but it's what it is. Booker T, Bull Meccano, these are up and down arrows. That's fine, they're good. But why they resets? This WCW event, Sid Vicious and Shotmaster could have been normal draft board and we would have been alright. These WCW cards, Vader, Jacqueline, Booker T, Stevie Ray, Bull Meccano, Goldberg, Meng. Then that's all of them. Yeah, that was all of them. They could have been collectibles. They should have been. Not they could have been. They should have been. This is basically the same promo as Legion's Saturday night main event promos with like Jesse Ventura, Liv Morgan. I know was one of them. Sensational Sherry, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. Even from Feral Tape, Bianca Belair, Ravishing Rude, Seth Rollins, Randy Victor. All these cards, them cards were collectibles, and guess what? We praised you for it. Granted, some of it was a bit, questionable, because, the feral cards and whatever, but it was understandable. The cards were easy to get in terms of just getting them, and they weren't that difficult. Even looking at the Raw cards, you had Bianca, Cena, Jay, I think, Rhea, Ray, I think, or maybe Trish. A select number of them were collectibles. Some of the others were draft board. Weren't resets either. So why change it now so that all the cards are reset? Bear in mind, 5 limit. A 5 limit per account reset. And if we look at the number, as you can see that excluding Shotmaster and Sid, that is 9. Limit of 5. Unless you've got Vader, Dusty being one of the better ones, Jacqueline being the best one in my opinion. Out of them, Medusa, useless. Why have we got another left arrow? Why? Because you don't need another one. We already have Zelina, Rhea. At the time, at the time of it coming out and everything, we had Zelina, Rhea. You know, Becky Lynch coming out. Becky Lynch from Boom. You know, all these cards, even the foil cards, you had Io Sky. Foil cards, granted, a bit useless. But why make cards that are clearly redundant to us, and you know, and it's fine, you know, in their eyes, because, you know, it's toughness and speed on, you know, it's fine, everything like that. Okay, most of the campaign map for the left arrows, that was difficult stages, was toughness and speed. What equipment does she benefit from? None. We'll talk about equipment. Like now, in this current meta, catdaddy, in case you don't know, if a card benefits from 0 equipment, it is rendered useless. In terms of the sheer potential of them. Even like Omos is considered useless because if you got Shotmaster, you didn't need Omos. Omos is a better Shotmaster. Power toughness. You know, Shotmaster's still better in power. Omos still better in power, and you had toughness. You know, being alright. Speed, terrible. Charisma, decent. Sid, you can't even pull the guy, and if you do, he's only in Hype Train, and to get the pro, if you complete the quest, you have to get him from Hype Train, and the odds are pitiful. And I know some people will say, oh, mum, you know, I pulled 2 Sids or 2 Shotmasters in the same one. Good for you. Good for you. You know, I'm happy that, you know, you pulled 2 of them in the same pack. You're not the majority. The majority have been pitiful to get unhinged. Terrible odds. And it definitely feels nerfed. You know, and even if I was to get a Sid or, you know, a Shotmaster from it, cool, I won't care. These quests, 50 games of Boom, 75 PvP games, easy, long, very long. And for Dusty, and to get him pro'd, you have to be able to, either pull him or get onto the 3rd board of Bunches of Punches. Low odds, by the way. Very low odds, because you've got all this random rubbish in there as well. And I do think that, catdaddy, please rethink your events. As some constructive criticism here, please review your events, your promos, take advantage of fusion events, your event cards. Omos is a better Shotmaster. Finn Balor wasn't really an alternative, isn't an alternative to anyone, because it can't really alternate with anything. Zelina is, well, Zelina. You know, Zelina's obviously amazing. Do you know, tell I, Dominic Mysterio's an alternative to Finn Balor. And arguably, Dominic's better. And in case you've not seen, we're going to be talking about this now as well. So another concern is in the events area, well, limited time events, limited time features, they call it, Mystic Map. This should be for the new tier. Excuse me. So you got Tarot Tournament coming in, which should be the Beat the Oracle stuff. I'll be talking about that in another video. But why are you bringing back WrestleMania Philadelphia? Why? Because WrestleMania Philadelphia, so many people got robbed because of the fact that they kept getting duplicates. And it'll probably be for limited edition Seth Rollins, most likely. And, you know, it's what it is. Tarot Tournament, the cards we can see, well, that is JC Mateo at the top. And that, where the lantern is, in case you can't tell, says Uncle Howdy. 2 left arrows. Why? And, you know, when it comes to these, of course, some of them will be some Sam 25 rarities, some tier, some will be the new tier, whatever it's called. And on top of that, there's Beat the Oracle, Dominic Mysterio's again, another card. And, again, free equipment use, you know, Dominic Mysterio, pick a card. You know, he's got some Sam 25 equipment, WrestleMania t-shirt, his WrestleMania 41 equipment if you've got it. Again, pay to win, so a bit questionable, you may not. But, isn't it time you give others either a chance or more cards? Because, you know, and this goes to my next thing about card distribution. Next tier, it must improve. Because I was talking about earlier with the e-rankings and stuff. They're just going to keep happening. Catdaddy, listen to your community. And the fact they're doing rip-offs, quite frankly, is disgusting. And people shouldn't feel the need to be, you know, ripped off or anything. Because Bulldog and Lex Luger are rip-offs of each other. This recent event card, again, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, rip-offs. We only just got Jey Uso 2 weeks ago. 2 as an event card. And then Omos. And then, in the mix of all that stuff, we also got Shockmaster, who's a worse Omos. Why are you doing these alternatives? You don't need to do them. But anyway, you know, catdaddy, I do love what you've done with the game, and, you know, I'm happy it's seen great success, and, you know, I'd love to keep playing the game and stuff, but, you know, having this sort of stuff, and even this Eric Bischoff not being probable without packs, is disgusting. Even with everything you've done with the game, and stuff, this season is easily the worst season they've ever had. Easily. Like, slow review, right, on this sort of stuff. And for me, there has not been a single, quote, good event that has made me go, wow. The closest to that was WrestleMania Forever, Some Rocks. Both having big issues. And again, it's that active gambling. Both had that issue. But WrestleMania Forever, for me, only was considered good because of legacy cards and stuff. catdaddy, stop relying on nostalgia. Make better content yourself. Stop relying on giving us Epic Season 2 Bray Wyatt. I know a lot of people are asking for AJ Lee cards. We're going to be demanding that for a while now. You know, all this nostalgic content and old content and stuff. Like, for me, they've stopped caring. They've gone lazier with their designs and everything like that. And, you know, I'm sorry this video's been negative, but you have to say how it is, really. And, yeah, and that's going to be it for the rant, but I know I'd said that, you know, it wasn't going to be a ranty video, but it's turned into one now, so that's what it is. You know, I have completed Julia Papa's, don't yet to claim it. But, you know, it's been rough playing this tier. Like, this tier I promise, but it's wasted. And, you know, these rip-off cards don't help it. Lex Luger, British Bulldog, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Omos, Shockmaster, to say the least, don't help each other at all. terms of the content and stuff, or the left out females that we've had that don't help. And, I think catdaddy should really consider their card distribution. And again, I could go on for an hour. Over an hour. I'm not going to. I know the video's getting long. It's already 4 minutes. Probably bored. But I think people need to speak up on this more and more. And start making posts and discussions, telling catdaddy Zach. And I'm not saying harass the man by any means. Just ask him to speak to the team and tell them this is what we want. Please do it. And even in my feedback that I said earlier on, I basically said to him, fix it. I'm not gonna stop anything or promote anything in terms of pay to win content or anything if it's available. I would say about what it is, but I'll never promote pay to win stuff. I do not want to be. I'm fully aware I'm not affiliated to catdaddy. I'm fully aware that I'm not gonna have anything with this. I'm never gonna be able to be affiliated with catdaddy at all, and equally I don't want to be. I want to keep open minded, and to say that this tier started so well, honestly, started really well, especially after the nightmare that was Unhinged. I think, catdaddy, don't waste your tears. Listen to the community a bit. That's the biggest message I can give you. Listen to us. You're asking for a survey in which I guarantee, 1% of it will do anything. We'll ask you card distribution. They won't do it. And in this video I've tried to be as respectful as possible, but it's time to be honest. This tier has been wasted potential. Really has. And that for me is disappointing. But yeah. During this stuff, again, I'm not going to promote pay to win content. I'll be doing free plays, some gameplay and stuff. I'll be talking with the community and stuff every now and again, in the Discord and stuff, seeing what they think. But catdaddy need to do something. Now, I understand that this video, if you're still watching it at the end, by the way, thank you so much. This video's not easy to make, but I don't think any of us are going to be saying it, really. Except they're going to go onto Twitter and stuff and won't do anything. Now, my base is very small in terms of numbers, I understand that. But if I don't normally ask people to share the video out or anything, or to try to promote it or anything, but this is that video that I think should get promoted a lot in terms of what we want. I'm not speaking for all the player base, I'm speaking for the people that I speak to in Discord and stuff, for the most part, that want change and want different things within the in the community. And again, catdaddy, please listen to it. Otherwise, the game will decline, and it's as simple as that, really. And it's very clear that you're losing money in terms of your potential revenue gain is a lot less. Especially from a business perspective and stuff like that, it's because your average player base is dropping, and more of the loyal people are leaving because we can't be bothered, or we're burnt out, or stuff like that, or we just don't like the game no more. You need to cater to them people. Listen to us. But yeah, please share this video out. This easily be one of the longest videos I've done. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Sorry about the ranting, but again, someone has to say something. Goodbye.